This year stretched a lot of people really thin. The uncertainty was loud, and if I'm being honest, I felt like a lot of people, myself included, walked through moments where we were wondering, is something wrong? Why am I so tired? Or why does my body feel so unpredictable? I'm Dr. Marcia Schaefer, and today I don't want to give you a list of more things to do because you don't need them. But I want to give you a way to understand your body differently, not through fear or through urgency or this desire that you need to fix it, but actually through trust. A lot of the work that I do is understanding that our bodies don't make mistakes. And the more you understand that, the more you can comprehend what that actually means for you, the more freedom you have in your life and in your health and what you can bring to the world being this vibrant, healthy version of yourself. One of the things that a lot of people think is crazy for me to say is that your body has never once betrayed you. Now, I'm coming up 15 years after a cancer diagnosis. So for me to be able to say that, I know at a deep level that every signal that my body has ever sent, from the whispers to a full volume shout, has been an intelligent response from my life. My hope is that by the end of our time together today, you walk away with one thing: a deeper trust in your body than you have ever had before. Most of us grew up with a definition of health that was way too small to actually understand the complexity of the human body. We learned that health meant that we feel good and that we have normal labs and that we're symptom free, right? Anything outside of that very narrow window said, oh no, something is wrong. We need someone else to step in and take control of it. But your body isn't a machine with on and off switches. That's not how it works. We live in these constantly adaptive systems, and they're always gathering information, making adjustments, allocating energy based on what your life is asking of you. If you spend a lot of time in stress, your system has to compensate in different ways. So symptoms, when in the old system saying anything symptom wise is a problem, what if symptoms weren't a sign of failure? What if they were an intelligent response? It's something to consider, but if it's an indicator, if that is true and it's an indicator that your body is actually working, we're just told the story that we're broken and symptoms need to be stopped. We're told that because the only way that we can lose trust in our body is to believe that it doesn't work for us, that this stuff is happening to us, it's not happening for us. When we can start to change that narrative, when we shift what we believe is possible, we get a massive opportunity to have a different conversation and a different outcome. Think about when your check engine light comes on in your car, right? Is the light the problem? No, the light is not the problem. The light is pointing you to the problem. But covering the light doesn't fix anything. It doesn't make it go away. And your body works the same way. So your signals are not there to scare you. They're actually there to guide you. And when you continue to look at your body, when you see your body through that lens, the pressure drops. The fear that you may have can actually soften. And as soon as you get out of fear, you lose your blinders. Fear makes you put blinders on. It makes you very tunnel vision, and you don't get to see all of these other opportunities that are around you. But you get to realize that you're interpreting all of these symptoms, all of these signals through the wrong story. And that is that symptoms are the problem instead of a signal for us to understand. So when it comes to fear, as I mentioned, you get into this like tunnel vision, you get into this very narrow vision of what is possible for you. But fear doesn't show up because you're weak or you're undisciplined. It actually shows up because your biology is trying to protect you. When your system has been stretched for way too long and way too far, your nervous system is going to shift into vigilance. It's going to constantly say, I need to be alert, I need to be more sensitive, I need to be more reactive. And it's doing this because it's trying to prepare you for impact. Have you ever been in the situation where you walked into a dark room, you hadn't been in the room before? What is the first thing that happens? Before your brain has any information, your body tightens, your heart rate increases. You just walked into a dark room. You don't know where the light switch is, right? So you're feeling around getting the light switch, but your body tightened up and your heart increased just in case. Your nervous system was not judging you. It was preparing you. What if something that you didn't know was going to happen when you turned on that light? So this is what happens when we stop asking our physiology to manage more than it has capacity to do. right? It starts looking for danger. It's always looking for danger before it's going to look for possibility, because danger is going to keep you alive when that's good, because we want to stay alive, right? So you don't get rid of fear by overpowering it. You shift fear by giving your system something that can actually count on. And we're going to talk about that today, because that's going to be through clarity and rhythm and space. All things that we definitely don't practice enough in our culture. So fear actually starts to lose traction when your body recognizes that it isn't alone in carrying that load anymore. And that is something that we see, and I see all the time in practice, through the 5 different states that our bodies move through on a regular basis. Now, you may recognize some for where you have been. You may feel like, I've never actually experienced that, but I've noticed these, and this is levels of awareness that I have seen bodies and people go through as they've been doing this work and as they've been healing. So your body doesn't operate on a straight line. It doesn't just like continually get better. We're going back and forth. We change through phases and we grow and we adapt. So the 5 different phases that I want to share is what's carrying your system, but also it's what your system is needing for the time and the purpose and the reason that you're navigating what you are. So when you understand these phases, you actually stop fighting where you are and you get to start supporting what your body is doing, and you understand what it's asking for. But again, if you hear what I'm going to say in the phases and you think, I'm going to judge that, I'm going to say that's bad or that's so frustrating. Okay, drop the frustration, drop the judgment, and just say, what do I need? What is my body looking for? Okay. So the first phase is where you wake up tired, even after sleeping. You're wanting a nap already. Everything feels urgent. Your mind is running ahead of you and your body can't actually keep up, right? So a lot of people get frustrated and overwhelmed when they're in this phase because they can't seem to get ahead of anything, which is super frustrating. This is the phase where even simple decisions feel like climbing a mountain. You know what you need to do, but your system doesn't have the bandwidth to actually execute. So the mistake people make is they think they need to do more in this phase. When nothing seems to be going there, what can I control? I need to control something. But it's not about doing more. When you learn that all of those signs that you're navigating, simple decisions feel like climbing a mountain, your system is trying to save energy. That's why it feels so chaotic. It's trying to protect you. So the goal is actually not to do more, it's to create safety. In the second phase, that's where some days feel really clear, other days feel really impossible. So you're trying to find a pattern, but nothing actually holds long enough to actually feel predictable for you. So in the medical model, I see this labeled all the time as like perimenopause to ADHD, when in reality, you have a body that is searching for rhythm and it wants one consistent cue that it can actually count on, like it depend on. So think of this phase like your body's trying to dance with music, but the song keeps changing every 30 seconds. You're not uncoordinated. It's not that you don't know how to dance. It's just that you're reacting to the inconsistency and you're going all over. In your third phase, that's where health looks good on the outside because you're doing all the right things. You're taking your supplements, you're eating well, you're moving your body. But man, if you forget your herbal teas or you forget some supplements or you don't work out for a few days, everything starts to unravel. Now, this is where people are so tightly bound by their supplements and their herbals, and their hormones are balanced only because they're taking these supplements and they're doing these things. This is not stability. That's actually control. It's not what we want. It's not the ease that our system needs. That's held together by pressure instead of the actual capacity that you should have. In this phase, it feels like the house of cards, right? You're going to do one misstep, everything is going to feel off again. You're going to have to start a new thing and get new supplements and detox again. And it's just this process that feels like it's work to just be. It's not fun. And then the fourth phase. Fourth phase is when everything begins to shift. You start to notice that you can handle more without collapsing and that you recover faster when you do get sick or injured. Stress, yeah, you deal with it, but it doesn't flatten you anymore. You're able to navigate it easier. You feel definitely stretched. You're dealing with a lot, but at the same time, you can handle it. You feel steady. And this is a sign that your capacity is actually being rebuilt. This phase can feel like the first day of spring after a really long winter. It's that beautiful day that's super nice out. Nothing dramatic had changed, but yet everything feels a little bit more possible. Everything is just amazing. And that is a sign of capacity being rebuilt. It's not something that's forced. It's something that just, there's a lightness to it. That is in phase 4. And then we have phase five. And phase five, this is where your internal world matches your external world, and they are not competing with each other anymore because you're having a lot of balance. Your body communicates clearly. You've got energy that's just, it stays all day, it holds. You are able to respond instead of having quick reactions. You're not quickly reacting to anything. You're able to hold your energy first and then respond. And everything seems to just be calmer, slower. It makes sense, right? So we move through all of those phases in different times in our life, and you're going to continue to move through them again. If you haven't been to some of them, hopefully one day you will, but none of them are good or bad. It's just information. It's a way of understanding your system and how your system is managing stress and what it needs. So one of the biggest reasons that I see people lose trust in their bodies is because they're measuring themselves from the wrong direction. As you're moving through those different phases, a lot of times people will say, I want to be here, so this is where I'm going. They measure themselves from the wrong direction. So they're measuring something by the gap. Dan Sullivan has a book called Gap and Gain that is an incredible read, one of my favorites to help people with health goals. And when people are in the gap, they are measuring the distance between where they are right now and where they believe that they should be. We're going to see this in crazy in January. The weight that they haven't lost, the habit that they didn't keep, the symptoms that didn't change enough, the version of themselves that they think they should be by now. We have all these expectations, right? Maybe it's even climbing up in December that it's going to have all these expectations that are climbing up. When you measure from the gap, you're always going to feel behind. You're always going to feel not enough, even when you're not, even when you actually have been doing things. Now, the gap tells you all the time you're failing, you're behind, you're not enough. It does this because it is a benchmark. Think of the horizon, right? If you're on a boat and you're looking at the horizon, will you ever reach the horizon? The answer is no, you will never reach the horizon because the goalposts keep getting moved. And we do the same thing. We get about 80% to our goal, and a lot of times people will then move the goalpost so they never actually reach the goal because they're like, if I'm this close, then I might as well go here. There's a lot behind psychology to finish the goal and reward yourself. But there's another way that you can actually look at it that can help you actually improve those goals and get to the goals faster. And that is where you want to be in gain. So gap is measuring where you are to where you want to go, whereas gain is saying, what have you already adapted to? What did your body carry you through this year? You could be reflecting on the year. What is working for you now that maybe you haven't noticed because you are so focused on what isn't? Can you think back to January 1st of this year and think of 3 things that changed who you were then to who you are now? Good things, not bad things. Those are all gains, right? So you're learning these small things. Those might be big things, but you have small ones every single day. So the gain is like realizing your phone battery lasted longer today than it did last month, right? Yeah. It's something, it's evidence. It's not flashy, it's not big, but it's evidence of change. It's evidence of capacity. So your body is always gaining. There's always good stuff happening. It's always learning. It's always responding. But our perception may be like, we may say, I don't like that, but we're learning a lesson from it. We can choose to say, yep, I did learn this from that, even though not pleasant. I didn't like it. So this keeps you in a trust space, right? So fear is going to shrink your world. The gap world where you're looking, comparing yourself against who you are today to this goalpost, that shrinks your world. It makes you feel like, oh, nothing is happening. Living in that gain, it builds trust into your system because it makes you prove to yourself that, wow, okay, I have overcome things this year. I have done these things. Yes, I can change. And when we have that opportunity, the shift that's going to happen happens the moment you stop measuring by what's missing and start measuring what you've actually accomplished and what's actually growing. So next year can have a absolutely magical change for you. It can be the year that everything changes. And if you want a new kind of health, if you want a new relationship with your body, if you want a new level of trust, you don't need more effort. It doesn't have to be something that is all this more effort. You need a different level of awareness. You need a new awareness. This is one of the most transformative practices that I could possibly teach because it's something that if you actually choose to do it, you will amplify your life in ways that you never imagined possible. Ready for what it is? You're going to do one thing. You're going to write down 3 wins every day. Just 3 little signs that your body or your life is shifting, even if it feels tiny. So it could be a moment that you handled better than maybe you would have before, or a choice that you made differently, or something that went smoother than it used to. So maybe it was a situation that, wow, I responded differently to that. So these are not big, huge wins, big things, it's small things, right? You want to pay attention to the small things. For example, you woke up rested, or you handled a stressful moment with a lot more calm than you did last week, or you hydrated, you drank water before you drank coffee in the morning because you don't want to start your day with a diuretic, or you went for a walk after a meal, 5-minute walk. It's going to change your blood sugar, it's going to improve your health. Maybe you caught yourself in a pattern that you didn't actually catch before, and now you were able to get ahead of it and see the pattern. Or maybe you just got home at night and you didn't collapse after a really long day. That's a huge win, actually. These are not small things. They are showing you that your capacity is changing. And the more evidence you can build of that, the more positive change you're going to have. So it's the same way building in the gain. We so prioritize these big shiny moments, but in the same way that you don't notice a child growing day to day, but all of a sudden they've outgrown another pair of shoes, our bodies are very quietly changing. We just need a way to witness it, and we're not often taught or told how to be able to witness it. So the nervous system doesn't change because you try harder. That's actually a way to make sure that you stay into that gap mode. You don't want to try harder. You don't want to force a system that's not ready, because it's going to change because you consistently show it that growth is happening. 3 wins a day, that is it. It's going to take about 30 seconds. You write them down, put them in your phone, in your notes app or something like that. But it can rewire your entire emotional relationship that you have with your own body. You're going to start seeing progress where you used to see problems. You're going to start trusting the signals that you used to fear and be concerned about. You're going to start recognizing strength that you actually used to overlook. This is how you shift out of the gap. This is how you build into the gain. And it's how you expand the capacity in a way that is going to last and create a shift in your system that will change everything else. Your body is not confused. It is not behind, and it is not making mistakes. It's been adapting to your life every single day. And even the days that you're feeling really overwhelmed, even the days that you're really stressed out, your body has always been trying to have you in protection. So you don't need more force. Your body is going to change by having more understanding. So you need a relationship with your body that's actually built on partnership instead of fear. My hope is that this is the year, or next year is the year, that you learn to trust those signals and recognize the intelligence in those responses by working through some of the gain work, and see that your capacity, the way that your body sees it, is something that is expandable and renewable and absolutely within reach. So thank you so much for being here. It was an honor to be with you today.